Hey guys. Alright, today I decided to make a little video clearing up some of the confusion that a lot of websites for saltwater tanks and advice columns and all that will give. I know a lot of people get confused. I mean, no matter what anyone tells you, every single hobbyist that has a saltwater tank right now at some point was completely confused about every term they read. I mean, like, you know, you read about RO water, live rock, protein skimmers, and it all sounds so confusing, and you know, you completely, your mind goes blank. You have no idea what these things are. So, and what some of the terms and abbreviations and all that mean. Alright, so today I'm gonna basically do the video and you know, try to clear up some of the confusion with all that. Alright, let's start out with live rock. Live rock is not live. It's not, you know, it's not going to the bathroom, it's not eating anything, it's just, the rock itself is not live, but the organisms living on it are alive. Organisms, I mean, copepods, little tube worms, every little teeny tiny little creatures all living on this rock are going to be cleaning up the tank and eating up all the dissolved organics, like all the little tiny things that these guys can't find to eat. The little organisms on there are going to take care of it. And so this basically it's the best biological filtration system you can buy, live rock, along with live sand. And that's with biological I mean as in that's how it's filtered in the ocean with live rock. Mechanical filtration would be foam, carbon, everything like that. That's going to be physically taking things out of the water, like, you know, getting clogged up with it. But this is actually going to completely take care of that. Alright, that moves me to curing live rock. Curing live rock, you'll read that everywhere you read about live rock, you'll read about curing live rock also. Curing live rock is no big deal. Basically what it means is you're cleaning the live rock. You'll get your live rock in the mail or from your local fish store, and if it'll usually say cured or non-cured. You'll get it if it's non-cured. You'll get it, your live rock, and it'll usually have a lot of die-off because during shipment and while there's no movement in the water and there's less oxygen in the water while it's being shipped and all that, a lot of creatures on there will die. And dead animals in a saltwater tank can be devastating. So even if it's a small animal like that, once it accumulates so much dead animals, it'll really shock your tank. So you're going to want to get your rocks, if it's not cured, and put it in a bucket, and you're just going to have some salt water in the bucket so it's completely submerged, and you're going to have like a little pump or something moving the water around inside of it, and you'll have that running 2 or 3 weeks, and you'll be doing, you know, 2 to 3 50% water changes during that week. So then once the water in the bucket's clear, and there's no, you know, stuff floating around, particles and all that, you can get the live rock out and put it in your tank safely. Still, I'd keep my tank without fish for a while though. Well, it cycles the tank, and I'll talk about that later in another video. So basically, curing live rock is just cleaning it. That's just exactly what it means. It's cleaning the live rock of all the dead organisms. Okay, protein skimmers. This is a protein skimmer. Let me turn on the light. This is a protein skimmer. It looks huge, I know, and it looks really complicated and high tech. It really isn't. This model is supposed to be is rated for like 125 gallons. So that just shows you why it's so massive. Or you can get a little protein skimmer like this. This is by Marineland. It's really not that effective, but it's still a protein skimmer. I don't use that right now, but So basically what it does is it simulates the waves on the beach washing up all that foam, and all that foam is actually all basically the dirty stuff in the ocean. So it'll collect it, it'll suck up the water out of your tank. This is a hang-on model. It can also go in a sump, and I'll talk about a sump in a different video. But it'll get all the bubbles, so all the bubbles trap all the dissolved organics and proteins and all those gross things that your average filter cannot catch. It'll collect all the foamy, disgusting stuff out of your tank in this cup. Once this cup gets filled up to a certain point, you're going to want to change it, just so it doesn't overflow back into the tank and, you know, ruin the process. So you're going to want to change the cup. Depending on your tank and depending on the skimmer, I'd probably do twice or 3 times a week changing the cup. And it's really not complicated, it really isn't. Nothing all that special that involves a protein skimmer. Basically the same thing as setting up a filter, kind of. So yeah, it's just basically everything. You have to remember, in a saltwater aquarium, every single thing you're putting into your tank should be simulating or replicating what the ocean does. And this is simulating the foam washing up on the beach and getting rid of all those organics. This is a Coral Life needle wheel protein skimmer, by the way. It was about $200, I think. And the one I just showed you, the little small one for like nano small tanks, that was $30, maybe $40, I forget. Alright, now RO water. RO water is I got this some RO salt water from my local fish store, and RO stands for reverse osmosis water. And I know that sounds so complicated, and so, you know, it just sounds like, oh, okay, that's way too complicated, I'm going to skip that, but you really don't want to. And it's really not that complicated at all. You buy yourself an RO unit like this one I have. I haven't used this, but this is definitely, I actually have a better one now. But if you ever notice on most people's sinks, they'll have a little skinny faucet that'll have drinking water coming out all the time. And under your sink, you should have an RO unit like this. Would I use that drinking water on my tank? No, I would not. But you're gonna want to buy an aquarium, a specialized aquarium RO unit, not just the drinking water. That way it takes care of just everything. And what happens is these two columns collect up all the bacteria and all the particles and metals and everything you do not want to go into your tank with your fish and your inverts and corals. That's what gets collected up here. Then it will expel completely clear, purified water with nothing in it, completely blank. And once you have that complete blank water, it's going to be fresh water, of course, which I use for my freshwater tank too. I don't use dechlorinators, but you're going to want to get some salt water. There's some salt mix. Instant Ocean is the best, I think, and that's what I use. And mix it with the water, and it's not hard at all. So yeah, RO unit, just to know what you're looking for. I got this from PetSmart for $80, a Coral Life RO unit, and it's cheap. So if you wanna, I know it sounds so expensive and complicated, but really, if you want to, you can just go to PetSmart right now and get the $80 Coral Life RO units. It works the same way, unless you have a reef tank with a lot of delicate corals and anemones and things. I would definitely stick with something like this, unless you have a reef. Then I think I'd go with something more complicated and more high-tech. Alright, so reverse osmosis water, that's all it is clean, purified water. If you don't want to mess around with this, you can go to your local fish store. Most local aquarium stores will have it set up to where their customers can buy reverse osmosis salt water or reverse osmosis fresh water. And it's not all that, I mean, this big 5-gallon jug was about $8, I think. And that'll last you a while. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2 of this series of videos. Alright, thanks guys. Rate, sub, and comment please. Bye.